everybody, this is Kohdok here. I'm sorry about the lack of videos for a while. I am still working on some, and they're actually a lot more positive too. I've been working on one for like Pokemon and Shogun Steel and stuff like that, but they've been taking a really long time to do, so I figured I'd just do something to fill in the time. Well, I was at Target recently when something caught my eye. It's the NFL Rush Zone trading card game. There are a couple of things about it I thought was kind of intriguing. As for the show, I'm not that familiar with it. From what I can tell, it's about how the NFL somehow controls the life energy of the universe or something. It's kind of scary. Anyway, this is a trading card game that, in kind of an amazing twist, is based on a TV show that wasn't made to sell a card game. So that's kind of interesting. Haven't seen a lot of those recently, ever since the big Millennium Crash, where everybody was trying to make one to be successful. So, well, let's see what we got in here. It's got a box that looks kind of like the box you get a Pokemon deck in. NFL Rush Zone trading card game, the Kickoff Starter Deck. I guess that's an appropriate title for it. So you got a character here. I think his name is Ish. He's the main character, Chargers fan. It's a holographic card of him like transforming into a football player, or kind of looks like Max Steel armor right there. There you can also kind of see 3 dice in the window here, so let's take a look inside. So, of course, we have the first cardinal sin of trading card games, and that is to print your rules on the underside of the playmat, so that whenever anybody has to check the rules, they have to flip the whole thing over and send all the game pieces flying. The rules themselves are also really kind of poorly written. I'll try to explain them as best I can. It also comes with these little touchdown tokens, which are meant to help you keep score whenever you get a touchdown. You get to grab a couple of these touchdown tokens. Pretty straightforward. Of course, there's the dice. They are fairly standard, clear 6-sided die. So clear round-edged 6-sided die. So technically, they're good and tournament legal. But here's the thing: some of them, like the 5 and the 6. They have like little lightning bolts on them, and that actually has something to do with the game. They're fairly nice dice. They're actually molded to carry the numbers, not just painted on. So they're a fairly nice set of dice, and because they are clear and rounded edge, they are tournament legal. So you can technically use these for any game. And of course we have the little deck box, which contains our deck. You'll see what I mean in a bit. And of course we have our little card here for Ishmael Ish Taylor. Let's set aside these touchdown tokens and dice for now, so I can go over the different card types. Now Ishmael is a Guardian card. Now a Guardian card in the rules of the game I found so far, they're like your avatar, kind of like what you get in World of Warcraft, and a couple of their stats determine whether or not how many kinds of special cards you can use, what sorts of bonuses, if any, your characters might get. Ish is pretty straightforward. He doesn't really offer any bonuses. Really, only the more rare Guardians offer bonuses. But let's take a look in here. Got a bunch of cards in here. So yeah, I got a couple more Guardians. I got another version of Ish. I got Ash, Ish, Ash. What is there? Is there an Osh and a Mosh and a Posh and a whatever. So yeah, these are the Guardians. So they basically kind of sit to the side and tell you this Mega Core number here. You can see it a bit more clearly on these cards here. They determine how many special Mega Core cards you can use. I'll get into those later. But the Guardian, it's basically you. There's also these cards called Rushers, which these are the guys who do the battling for you. They've got a few stats up here. They've got these are the yards that they're worth. You've got the number down here, the +1, +2, those are called sparks, and they're used for attacking. And they have a little lightning bolt up here, which is their defense. Now, you might notice that while these two have kind of blank green spots here, this guy actually has a colored-in Viking. And that's actually an interesting part of the system, in that the thing that intrigued me about this game is that the game actually comes with these little sticker sheets. And the idea is, if you have the corresponding sticker, that you attach it to the card, and that card basically gets what amounts to +1 attack, +1 defense. I'll get into that in combat later. But yeah, it gets a bonus by having the matching sticker on it. Like, I think I have the Jets in here. Yeah, here's the Jets card right here. He doesn't have a sticker, But I have the matching sticker card. It says 049 here, 049. So what I do is I peel that off and I add it to the Jets player. And there, now the Jets player is kind of a +1. These sticker cards, oh yeah, if the Guardians have the sticker on them, they provide +1 defense to all of your cards. So if you have the sticker on your Guardian card, then you get even more than that. And of course, to really top off the whole sticker thing, we have the Megacore cards. These are the ones that were mentioned in the Guardians earlier. The Megacores are basically a one-time power-up. And your Guardian determines how many of these you can have in your starting hand. You can have from between 1 and 8. Now, these actually have 8 spots for stickers on them, and depending on how many stickers you have on them, they can give different benefits. And, of course, the catch is you have to play them on the matching team. Like, this is the Bears Megacore. I also have the Bears Rusher here, so I can use this Megacore to power up my Bears Rusher. Now, the Bears Core has 1 sticker on it, which means it's still only a +1. If the card is empty or has only 1 sticker, it's a +1. But my Broncos card here has 2 stickers on it. So at 2 to 3 stickers, it instead provides a bonus of +2. So if I have Broncos in here, do I have the Broncos in here? Yeah, there's the Broncos. So if I use this Broncos card, use it on my Broncos card, I instead get +2. So here's the thing about the stickers that it's what intrigued me about the game, because when you think about it, you know, if you have the matching stickers, then you power up the cards you already have. That's kind of fun, but then you kind of get pessimistic, you know, because then you realize, you know, oh, the cards I pulled, they're incomplete. Now I have to buy boosters upon boosters upon boosters to get these stickers. So I'm still kind of conflicted on whether to find this intriguing or annoying. I'll get into that a bit later. I'm getting into a lot of things a bit later. Let's clean these guys up here. Also, each of these rushers also has a foil version. Let's see if I can get, yeah, you can see the foil on there, which apparently have another +1, are worth +1 more down here, and have an additional 20 yards to them. And you only get 1 of these per booster pack, and you only get a couple of them in the starter deck. So I guess the idea is that makes them a bit better. They use the same sticker as the regular ones, though, so you might want to actually wait off on putting on that sticker until you get the foil version of that. Let me see, there's a couple other cards. Of course, there's yard cards, which are played in battle. The battlers basically fight over these yards here in order to see who gains the yards and who can score touchdowns with them. There are also shield cards. What shield cards do is they increase your defense. They're kind of a one-time little boost thing, but you only get 3 to use for the entire game, and an entire game is 8 fights, so you have to use these fairly widely. They offer a defense bonus from 1 to 6. And now we're getting into some weird stuff. These are the end zone cards. What these end zone cards do is they go on the field. I'll set that up in a bit. But what they do is it's kind of like it's the teams playing. It gives them the home field advantage. That's a lot of things I'm talking about later. And finally, these little things. These are actually like pop-out, like standy pawn things, and they're what you use in the game to determine how many yards you've moved. I don't know. Couldn't they have done this with like a coin or something? And why do they make you get touchdown counters instead of expecting? I guess they don't think people have like life counter apps or pencils and paper lying around anymore, so they give you all these tokens and stuff. I'm getting ahead of myself. So now what you do is you actually you actually build the field out of a bunch of cards you're given, and you can see it actually spells rush zone when you put it all out there. And that is where the end zones come into play. Because you see what you do is the end zones go on the edges of the field here, to make it look kind of like the look like the end zone of an actual football field. It's kind of a fun little visual gimmick. I kind of like it, but the idea is that you have to get here in order to get the touchdown. So your pawn kind of starts there. Now, in order to actually advance down the field, you have to go down into battle. Now, at the start of the game, players would play 5 of their rushers face down on each side. But we're just going to do a little hypothetical battle here. Let's You roll 2 dice to determine which spot you're on. That is a 9 total, so we would be on the Raven side there. And let's do a hypothetical battle between the Bears and the Vikings. Okay, so let's actually move them to the center so you can see that fine. Now let's say the Vikings are on offense. There's 4 quarters. Each turn, players alternate between offense and defense. Basically, each player gets to attack once per quarter for a grand total of 8 battles. After you play those 5 creatures, you get another 7 rushers that go into your deck, along with 4 yardage cards, after which you draw 5 cards of that. So your deck is 11 cards. That's an astoundingly small deck. You also get, of course, the Megacore cards you get to use. But that's just kind of out of your hand, your Megacore cards and your shields. That's fairly straightforward, though. So, let's say that the Vikings say, okay, I'm going to go for 50 yards. So, I'm going to start a battle. So, what the goal is these numbers down here, +2, that basically affects your die roll, which was done with some just crazy sort of algorithm here. Let me see if... there it is. I got the algorithm right here. What you do is, at +1, you get to roll 3 dice. And those 3 dice, each dice has to land on a 6 in order to hit. For each one above that, one of those dice changes to hitting on a 4, 5, and 6. So at +2, one of your dice can hit on a 4, 5, and 6, and the rest have to be 6s. At +3, 2 are at 4, 5, 6, and 1 is at 6. At +4, then all of them can hit at 4, 5, 6. Any number beyond 4 that you are, you get an additional +1 attack dice. And this sticker here counts as +1 to the sparks. So the Vikings may have a printed value of +2, but he's actually at +3 because of the sticker, meaning that he can hit twice on a 4, 5, and 6. So the Vikings would roll their attack. Okay, that's only 1 hit. That wouldn't be enough in order to knock out the Bears, who require 2 hits in order to knock out. His defense is 2 here. But let's say the Vikings hit twice. So that's what goes on there. Now the Bears, they get a chance to defend. Now we're going to talk about home field advantage because we're on the Bears field. So the Bears gets, based on home field advantage gets you an additional spark here or an additional defense roll. It basically gives you +1 attack and +1 defense, just like having a sticker does. So the Bear gets 1 chance to roll a defensive. And for each time they roll a 6, they're able to deflect 1 hit. Now, because the Bears have the home field advantage, they get 1 defensive die, but I have the option of also playing the Bears Megacore, which gives him another defense die he can roll, because this one offers +1. It basically offers a net +1 to whatever. So if you play it when you're defending, it gives you a +1 to defense. However, if you play it while you're attacking, it gives you a +1 to your attack value. So we're going to roll these 2 dice, and I did not get a 6. Now, ordinarily the attack would go through, but fortunately, since I was only hit twice, as the Bears, I can play the shield, which basically soaks up 1 hit. Now, you only get 3 shields per game, so you have to be careful when you do it. And now, because the attack did not go through, it's the Bears' turn to attack. Now, the Bears, they are at +1, at +2, thanks to the home field advantage. See how complicated this is? Ugh. Anyway, the Bears, all they have to do, they're at +2, so they get 1 roll at 4, 5, 6. The others have to be 6s, and they have to hit twice to get to the Vikings. So we're going to roll. Oh, but we got triples this time. So that's a funny coincidence. Let's talk about the triples rule. If you roll the same number 3 times on all 3 dice, then your opponent gets 1 chance to roll the 3 dice and try to get triples in a higher number. It's the only way they can possibly defend. Now, we did not get triples. We got what would have been a great defensive dice roll, but we did not score triples. So because the Bears rolled triples and the defender failed to roll higher triples, the attacker wins automatically. So what you do is you take the yardage card and you take the yards of the 2 characters and you add them together, which gives you a grand total of 140 with the 50 yards here, the 50 yards on the Vikings, and the 40 yards on the Bears. Now, because the Bears won, they get to roll a die to see if their special move activates, which increases the yardage. I got a 6. On a 4, 5, or 6, I get it, so that's an additional 30 yards. So the Bears, out of that, get 180 yards. So basically, I would get 1 touchdown, and I'd move my character up 80 yards. So that's sort of how combat works. It alternates like that until the end of the game. There aren't just straight yardage cards. There's also a card that's an automatic touchdown, which is kind of confusing since there's also a 100-yard card as well. And there's also one that, rather than giving you an increased yards number, there's a ×2 one. Here's some examples right here. Gives you a ×2 one, and there's a ×3 one, which instead triples the value of all the characters. It triples the values of the characters in play. Now, in the 4th quarter, you can actually play 2 attack cards at once. You can't play 2 multipliers on top of each other, but you could, for example, play a ×3 card and a 100-yard card to get ×3 on that, which just gets to insanity. However, it's kind of an interesting idea, but like I told you before, it's really convoluted. I tried to break it down for you to try to make it as simple as I could, but really these rules are really complex for something that relies so much on dice and chance. Also, there's some balance problems. Like I was showing you before, you got the Bears, he's 48 plus 1, you got the Vikings, he's 58 plus 2, but check out the Ravens. The Ravens are worth 80 yards, have 3 defense, and get +3, as well as a special move that can give them an additional 50 yards. Simply put, the Ravens it's absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, but my Raven is stickered, and that's how it comes in the starter deck. This isn't even the foil version of him, and he's more powerful than the foiled versions of a lot of the cards I have. Like my foiled Cardinals, it doesn't even hold a candle to how good the Ravens are. And here's the thing, this game is straight numbers. There's no like special abilities or anything. The only special abilities that any of the Guardians have is that they provide an additional +1 defense dice if they're just out, an additional +1 dice on top of the other dice. So no offense to the Baltimore Ravens football team, but the Ravens are just totally overpowered. I mean, at that point, it's not really much of a choice. It's more of a calculation. You want to win the game? Well, so the question is, do you want to play as the best characters in the game, or do you not want to play as the best characters in the game? And honestly, that's a real kick in the face to fans whose shiny version of their card, their team, can't even measure up to the non-shiny version of the Ravens. The thing is, the Ravens, I have the Ravens end zone and a Raven sticker, so he's at +5. So just on the card alone, he's at +1 attack dice. He has 3 at 4, 5, and 6, so that's 3 hits right there, but he also gets another +1. So he just hit for 4 on that roll. That's without any other support cards. If you consider his sticker, the home field advantage, and if I had one of those +1 defense Guardians that had a sticker on him, he would also have 4 defense dice and 3 hit points to go through. So I guess you could say that some of the lower value ones would give up less yards if they lose, and of course if the Ravens lose, they give up a whole ton of yards to their opponent. But because the Ravens also get all these bonuses to attacks, it just doesn't matter. They're more likely to succeed, so there is really no reason to play as any other team other than the Ravens. I mean, I guess the 49ers are kind of similar, but they're 10 yards shorter, and their special ability isn't as good. The Ravens have 2 chances to get their special ability. The Miners only have 1. Oh, and poor Miami. This is the foil version of their card, and they're 40 yards and +2. That means their base card would be 20 yards +1, and that's just sad. And it means that the foil version of the Ravens are probably 100 yards and +4, meaning just with the sticker and the home field advantage, they get 2 bonus attack dice. It's kind of ridiculous. And there's a bunch of rules and things that are really confusing too, like in particular with the Guardians. Let's see, where is he? So this guy here, the Guardians, why do they have combat stats? I don't know why they have combat stats, because according to what I've read, all they do is kind of hang around in the back. They don't actually participate in combat, so I don't see why they have the combat stats on them. Also, the sticker mark here for for Ish here doesn't have a number on it. Does that mean I can put anything there? I mean, on one of my sticker sheets, I have a little red lightning bolt icon that doesn't have a number. Is that what goes there? Or are they like wild so that I can put anywhere? Or because they have no numbers, are they completely useless? I don't know. They don't clarify in the rules when a sticker doesn't have a number on it. I mean, you can tell the difference between the ones that go on the character cards and the ones that go on the Megacore cards, because the Megacore cards have a little power bar on the side, but I don't know what to do with these here. And that's just kind of ridiculous. The fact that the game is so unbalanced and that the rules are just so odd is kind of what really turns me off from this game. Really, they're the only strategy. I mean, other games, they offer you like strategies and stuff. Do I want to be defensive? Do I want it to be all about direct damage? In this game, it's do I want to play as the best team or not? That's a calculation right there, because I don't see anything in the rules. There's nothing in the rules about a limit to the number of cards you can have in it. So can I like build nothing but a deck of stickered ravens and just stomp everything anywhere? Because if I play the raven, nothing but the ravens and ×3 cards, that means just the ravens on their dice alone are worth 2.5 touchdowns. And there isn't a single character out there, not even the poor Miami Dolphins, who can prevent him from getting a 3rd touchdown just on points by using the ×3 card. So really that's the only option, is to build a Ravens deck. And, you know, even the box is confusing. I mean, the box has a defensive 4 printed on it. Can I defend with the box? This game, it's a mess. It has some intriguing ideas in the form of the sticker gimmick, and it's kind of fun with the end zone and building the cards together. But really, the whole game itself is a mess. They also sell booster packs, which say contain 10 cards and 2 foil cards. But here's the thing. One of those foil cards is going to be one of those pawns, which really doesn't influence the game at all. You don't get any kind of bonus for matching pawns or anything. That's all they are, is they're just markers. So that's one foil card out of the way. The other one's a sticker sheet. So really, it's more like you're getting 8 cards, a pawn, and a sticker sheet. So for $4, so that's actually quite a bit under par compared to a lot of card games out there. Then again, you know, who knows? There might be a huge chance for variety. There might actually be more different kinds of warriors with different abilities other than just their shiny forms, because, you know, the starter set says it has 239 different cards on there. Well, let's take a look at that number, shall we? There's 32 teams in the NFL, so of course you have 32 cards, 1 for each team. You have the shiny version of each of those, which have their own collector number. That's 64 out of the way already. Of course you have the Megacore. There's another 32 of those. And of course there's the Pawn. There's another 32 of those. And there's the end zones. There's 32 of those. So that right there is 160 cards. That is 2/3 of the set out of the way amongst just these 5. Let's see what else we have. Oh, there's the yardage cards. You get 1 for each yards from 10 to 100. That's another 10. And of course there's the ×2, ×3, and touchdown. That's another 3 right there. There's the sticker cards. There's 37 of those. So add those together, that brings us up to 210. 210 out of 239 on just these 7 types of cards. Let's see, is there any more? Oh yeah, the field. The parts of the field have collector's numbers on them, and there's 5 of those. So on just 8 kinds of cards, all of which are pretty much the same, that is 215 of the 239, leaving room for just 24 different other cards, which I'm betting are all Guardians. Oh, wait, the shields. There's 6 levels of shields, so there's 1 shield for each number. So 221 out of 239 cards are already gone. That leaves just 18 cards left for Guardians. So, wow, it's amazing how that variety just melts away. So, that is the NFL Rush Zone card game. It's got some interesting ideas to it. Like with the stickers there, that could maybe be implemented a little bit better. The rules, however, are really, really confusing, and like I said before, thanks to the Ravens, the balance is just abhorrent. because there's no special abilities or anything. It's just pure numbers. So it becomes a calculation at that point about what cards you use. So the game had some good ideas, but some absolutely terrible execution. So that's NFL Rushzone, and this is Kohdok signing off. Ah, well, if nothing else, I can at least use the dice for my competitive Pokemon games.